Competition is good when you're competing with other people, but it's not so good when you're competing against other people. In fact, I define this as an artificial attempt to mask one's insecurities at the expense of another. And here's why. Because competing against others gives you a false sense of progress. Because it's impossible to measure your opponent's effort. Case in point, if I have a friend and myself and we both get timed running the 40-yard dash, if my friend is faster because he timed a 4.3, whereas I ran a 4.5, so quite naturally, I want to compete with him or even against him to try to get my time better. So I start racing him each and every day. Well, how do I know he's giving a full effort? What if he's slacking? What if that 4.3 was the best he could ever produce? What if he overachieved? See, I don't know any of those things, but yet I'm measuring my progress according to him. No, that's a no-no. See, what happens is when you compete against other people, it starts tapping into the ego. So instead of trying to get better, instead of trying to make progress, you just want to beat the other person. So it's not about growth and development. It's about feeding the ego. And that's never good. And then it turns into emulation if you can't beat them. So now you're trying to be like him or her. And what emulation does, it robs God of the uniqueness that he placed in you. So listen, go ahead, feel free, compete with others. But when you start trying to compete against others, you have to keep in mind that you can't measure your growth according to the result of the competition because you can't measure your opponent's effort. So go out and just know this. You were born to be great. You have just enough to do whatever you need to do, all right? You don't need anyone else. You don't need other people's approval. You don't need to compete against other people. Just compete against the person in the mirror. Have a great weekend.